Shalom Aleichem. We're going to go through a few of the halachot, a few of the laws of Birkat Hamazon. So we know the Birkat Hamazon, we have the first three brachot, and then we have the fourth bracha. The first three brachot are from the Torah. As it says, V'achata v'savato v'erachta, there's three brachot. And those three brachot are the oraita. Now, what's the difference if the brachot are from the Torah or from the rabbinical? We'll see a little bit later, but there is a difference. The fourth bracha, which is Atov V'Ametiv, that is rabbinical. The first three brachot, Moshe Rabbeinu is the first bracha, Yeshua instituted the second bracha, and David and Shlomo, they made the third bracha. Meaning to say that the brachot are the oraita, but the actual wording of the first bracha was Moshe Rabbeinu, the second bracha was Yeshua ben Nun, and the third bracha was David and Shlomo HaMelech. We know the Birkat Hamazon, we have to say the tremendous amount of happiness and simcha, and with a lot of kavanah, a lot of concentration, and it has the same halachot of Shemona Esrei. If a person is saying Birkat Hamazon, he has to be just like he is in the Shemona Esrei of the Amidan. You cannot look around, you can't do things while you're saying Birkat Hamazon, just like you're davening Shemona Esrei, right? You can't answer amen to anything. Nothing. You have to sit there, close your eyes preferably. If you have a siddur in front of you, you can open your eyes like in a siddur and say word for word. And we know that the Chiruch writes that he gives a guarantee that whoever says Birkat Hamazon with Kavanan is guaranteed to have parnas his whole entire life. That's the guarantee that he gives if a person says Birkat Hamazon with Kavanan. Also, a person needs to be sitting down doing Birkat Hamazon and needs to be concentrating. He shouldn't be sitting down with his legs crossed or in an arrogant fashion. Rather, he should be sitting down in a nice fashion with his feet down, sitting down in a respectful fashion, not in an arrogant fashion, to be able to say Birkat Hamazon properly. It's proper to say all the brachot with sitting down with kavanah, but especially Birkat Hamazon must be sitting down. Also, a person is not allowed to be doing things. For example, a person wants to has a mosquito zapper, zapping mosquitoes while saying Birkat Hamazon, or a person is wiping his hands on something while he's doing Birkat Hamazon, or he's moving things on the table, or is looking at his phone, whatever, all these different things that a person could be doing, that shouldn't be doing Birkat Hamazon. All these things that are suited to do Birkat Hamazon. Even to hint something to somebody doing Birkat Hamazon, not allowed. Say in the middle of saying Birkat Hamazon, and you want to ask one of your kids to do something, you're starting to hint them with your fingers, you're not allowed to do that. Just like you're in Shemona Esrei and Amidah, that's exactly the way it is in Birkat Hamazon. Api halakha, it's proper to close the knife during Birkat Hamazon, to cover the knife in Birkat Hamazon. According to Kabbalah, it's proper to remove the knife from the table and all metal objects from the table during Birkat Hamazon. And Birkat Hamazon also, when you're saying the words, you have to make sure that you hear what you're saying. You can't just whisper it low to the point where you can't hear yourself. But if you did that and you couldn't hear yourself, but you know for sure you took the words out of your mouth, b'diavad yotzeh. If a person ate and he didn't drink and he's thirsty, you have to be careful to make sure that you drink. Why? Because Birkat Hamazon is only the oraita. You make a mitzvah from the Torah only if you're satisfied. But if a person is thirsty, their Birkat Hamazon is only a D'Rabbanan, is only chayav on a D'Rabbanan level. Now, what's the difference? Right? We said earlier there's a difference if it's D'Oraita or D'Rabbanan. The difference is if a person does not remember if he said Birkat Hamazon. So a person sitting thinks, did I say Birkat Hamazon? Did I not say Birkat Hamazon? So if a person was very thirsty and he didn't drink anything in the meal, then if he's not sure if he said Birkat Hamazon, he doesn't go back and say it again. Why? Because it's only D'Rabbanan. But if a person was satiated and he's not sure if he said Birkat Hamazon, then he has to go back and say Birkat Hamazon. However, the Birkat Hamazon that he has to go back and say is only the first three brachot. That's it. So the fourth bracha, it doesn't need to say. Ashkenazim, they say even the fourth bracha. Why? The Mishnah Berurah writes that it's one big Birkat Hamazon. But the Sephardim, only the first three brachot, those are the oraitas, the only things that we go back to say again. Now, many people make this following mistake. When they wash their hands only to let them, they sit down to eat, they eat bread, but they don't eat enough bread. Or they eat enough bread, but they eat it in a span of a very long time. In order to say Birkat Hamazon, a person needs to eat 30 grams of bread within 4 to 6 minutes. 4 to 6 minutes. Ideally 4 minutes. If it's hard, you could do 6 minutes. B'diavad, you could do 7.5 minutes. B'diavad. But most poskim are between 2 and 6 minutes. More accepted is 4 minutes. That's considered Kedei Achilat Pras. What the differences of these numbers are, where it comes from, that's a different discussion I don't want to get into. But a person needs to make sure that he eats within 7.5 minutes at least 30 grams, right? Preferably, like you said, 4 to 6 minutes. If a person did not eat 30 grams within 7.5 minutes, they eat a little bit now, a little bit in 5 minutes, a little bit in another 5 minutes. So you can't say Birkat Hamazon. Therefore, it's very important that as soon as you wash, you sit down, you eat bread. 30 grams of bread is not too much. You take some bread, eat some salads, right away eat a kazayit of bread within 4 to 6 minutes. This way you know you're very chayav Birkat Hamazon, and then you can go eat whatever you want. If you didn't do that, then you can eat 30 grams. Even later on, you can eat those 30 grams, right? But it has to be within 46 minutes. But again, it has to be only if you still have room in your stomach. But if you didn't eat the kazayit of bread, and you ate a whole entire meal, and you're full, you can't breathe anymore, you don't even want to look at food, so then it doesn't help you to eat the bread anymore. That's not considered eating. You're already full. That eating is not considered eating in halakha. It's considered achila gasa. Therefore, a person should be careful. The first thing, eat bread, kazayit. This way you know you're ready chayav Birkat Hamazon. Afterwards you can eat whatever you want, right? Tov. Women are also chayav Birkat Hamazon, right? Unfortunately, a lot of ladies, they don't say Birkat Hamazon. Therefore, everybody should teach his household, his daughters and his wife to say Birkat Hamazon, right? The Ben Ish Chai, he made a special Birkat Hamazon for ladies, a very short version. Now, preferably, we don't say that, but if you know there's a lady that she's not going to say Birkat Hamazon at all, it's too hard for her, too long for her, or she's just not going to say it, or she's just starting to say it, so this would be a good alternative for her. Let her start with the Ben Ish Chai's Birkat Hamazon for ladies. She could start with that, and with time, when she learns how to read better and faster, you should transfer her over to the regular Birkat Hamazon that we all say, right? A lady that ate and she's very satiated, but she's not sure whether or not she said Birkat Hamazon, she does not go back and say Birkat Hamazon again, even though by men we say the men do go back. It's a machloket whether or not ladies are chayav Birkat Hamazon the right to the Rabbanan. That's why, right? So therefore, because there's a machloket, we don't tell the ladies to go back. If she wants to go back and eat and again do the whole thing, she can, but she doesn't have to, right? And the fourth bracha, which is the Rabbanan, right? You have to be careful also, right? When you say, right, this fourth bracha, you say also with a tremendous amount of kavanah. The fourth bracha is also very chashuv, very important, right? We says over here, בעלת ברכת רביעית שהיא טוב ומיטיב, גדולה מאוד. לכן צריך לכוון בה מאוד, ואם person needs to make sure the fourth bracha was really instituted after there was thousands of Jews that were killed all, and they were not able to be buried. Hashem made a miracle that their bodies didn't rot or didn't decay, and then that decree was over and they were able to be buried. So then that bracha was instituted, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it was a chesed that the king allowed, all of these bodies all were able to be buried. Right? So therefore a person needs to make sure when he says this bracha to say it properly with the kavanot. Then afterwards we say all the harachamans. Harachaman hu yishtabach al kisei kavod harachaman hu. What is this harachamans? During Birkat Hamazon is a special opportune time, they say. It's like an et ratzon, like Ilan Yom Kippur, it's a special time to pray. So during Birkat Hamazon is a special time to pray. Therefore they put all those harachamans, the all prayers. Why? Because during Birkat Hamazon, when a person prays, it's a very special time. The Mishnah Berurah even goes to saying that during Birkat Hamazon, what a person thinks of could happen. That's how powerful Birkat Hamazon is. It creates reality like that, right? Therefore, during this harachaman, a person at the end can also add his own prayers. He could say harachaman hu yivarech et tebanim sheliku shiu kulam tzadikim. A person, he could bless my children. A person could add a lot of tefillot at the end. Say harachaman hu, bless this one. Harachaman hu. He can add harachaman. Why? Because it's a special opportune time. Therefore, we have to make sure that we're saying with tremendous amount of kavanah, right? And that's, in short, all the halachot that we need to know. To be very careful, to say Birkat Hamazon Kavanan, all the brachot Kavanan, not to have any interruptions in between. And also, like we said, the Sefer Chinuch guarantees that whoever says Birkat Hamazon Kavanah will always have Parnassah for the rest of their life.